What's going on, guys? I hope you guys have had a great week of trading. I just want to jump on here and review Take Profit Trading. I think they've been around for probably a couple years now. I know there's tons and tons of options now in the funding space, but I think in terms of payouts, they are by far the best. Daily payouts, you can get paid out multiple times a day. So I just want to break down over the overall structure of this company. They are running a sale right now, so as you can see at the top, you can get 40% off for life and then no activation fee on the back end. So I think that's the big part. So whatever you pay for your eval, so it's 40% off. So let's say, look, their 50K account, it's 100 bucks. Typically there's a $130 activation fee on the back end. That's waived. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna put, once you pass that eval, they're gonna put $130 in your wallet on your account, and then you can use that on the back end to pay for that pro account. Okay, so the code right now is off the open. Just jump in there, grab that account, and you're gonna get 40% off for life with no activation fee on the back end. So let's dive into this and kind of do some comparisons. So the Take Profit guys, as you can see right here, 5 days to be able to pass, at least in terms of minimum. So I know like Top Step, there's 2, super fast, Apex 7, and then I know there's a bunch of other funding companies, so there's probably a lot more days, but for Take Profit, it's gonna be 5 minimum days for withdrawal. So once you get into that pro account, as long as you hit that that buffer, the profit threshold, you can withdraw from day one. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in terms of like risk management and if that's possible and should you be pushing that account day one or not. But you can withdraw from day one. No scaling, so contract limits, some have scaling, right? 1 to 3 if you have like $1,000 in profit versus more, but there's no scaling. So if you're in the 50K account and you can use 6 contracts, or if you're in the 150K account, you can use 15 contracts. Once you're in that pro account, you can use leverage, but again, we'll talk about risk management and if you should be pushing that account from day one. Pro account resets, you can reset your pro account, which I think that's probably one of the only firms that does that. I would imagine that it's a pretty penny to do that. So you probably would just go back to the process and pay way less money. Fees for a pro account, obviously it's typically 130 right now. It's nothing, right? They're just gonna deposit that 130 bucks into your wallet, in your account, and you just use that to pay on the back end. So it's 40% off right now, and then there's no activation on the back end. So that's kind of the breakdown in terms of the overall structure. In terms of account sizes, guys, I'm probably just gonna go over the 50, 100, and 150, just because that's the most popular. So 50K right now, 40% off is gonna be 102. Like flat rate, that's it. There's no 130 on the back end. So if you pay 102, you're in it, you pass, you go to the pro account, like that's it. There's no more fees. So looking at the 50K account, profit target's gonna be 3 grand. You're able to use 6 contracts or 60 micros. The DLL or daily loss limit is 1,100 bucks. So just take note, like, well, I think what Top Step does is awesome. If you hit your DLL, like you do not fail your account. I think that's awesome. With Take Profit, and I think like every other platform out there, it kills you, right? You're done. You don't have an account anymore. So daily loss limit, $1,100. You hit it, your account's done. End of day trailing drawdown is 2,000. So that's the 50K account. Going to the 100, 198 flat rate, no activation fee on the back end. So just 198 gets you in, gets you out, gets you the pro account if you pass. Profit target's going to be 6 grand, 12 contracts, 120 micros. The DLL is going to be $2,200, and the end of day trailing drawdown is going to be $3,000. And then kind of notice, guys, that I'm saying end of day trailing drawdown on these evals, and we'll talk about that here in a sec. So end of day trailing drawdown. So whatever you finish at the end of the trading day, whether it be in profit or at the loss, that is what you're going to start at the next day in terms of your drawdown. Going into the 150, 216, going at 9,000, 15 contracts, 150 micros, 3,300 in terms of your DLL, and then 4,500 end of day trailing drawdown. Biggest thing I would say with these funding companies is, I know bigger account sizes are more expensive, but it does give you better like daily loss limit and end of day trailing drawdown to play with. The smaller ones you go, easier it is to kind of kill yourself. So I always recommend, if you can get yourself like a 100K or 150K account there, and you trade smaller, you have more wiggle room to be able to play with in terms of your downside. So those are the account sizes in terms of, they do have the 25K to 75K if you guys are interested in those, but those are those account sizes. In terms of platforms, kind of have all of them that everybody else has. The CQG, you got Ninja, you got TradingView, you got Tradeovate. On Rhythmic, you got RTrader, MotiveWave, Quantower, and then you have more. I use Quantower because you can connect them to multiple prop firms. With that being said, so I'll talk about like the Pro versus Pro Plus kind of as you go forward. So just know that the Pro is Sim Live, right? And then Pro Plus is going to be like the live account. Once you get kicked over to live, they take you off Rhythmic and they kick you back over to CQG. So if you love Quantower or whatever that's going to be Rhythmic, just know after $20,000 in profits in the Pro account, they make you go over to CQG. So you got to trade a Tradeovate, Ninja Trader, TradingView. So just kind of a heads up on that. Okay, so jumping into this, guys, obviously eval sim pro account is going to be sim live, and that Pro Plus account is going to be a live with broker data fees, and then they're going to kick you back over to that CQG, so you get to choose from one of those three platforms. So in terms of withdrawal process, once you hit the profit threshold, and I'll let me go back up here and actually talk about this in terms of each account size. So there's a profit threshold in the Pro account once you pass your eval that you have to hit to withdraw money on day one or day whatever. Okay, so it's the end of day trailing drawdown is going to be your profit threshold that you have to hit to now start taking money out. So we just go through each one. If I'm in the Pro account and the 25K, I need to make $1,500, and anything above that, I can now start withdrawing from day one or anything after that. 50K, I need to make $2,000, and then anything above that, I can now start pulling. 75K, I need to make 2,500. Anything above that, I can start pulling. 100K, I need to make 3K. Anything above that, I can start pulling. And then 150, I need to make 4,500. And anything above that, I can start pulling. So just know that when you do get in that Pro account, there is that profit threshold that you do have to get up to, that buffer. Anything above that, you can start pulling immediately on the daily. So that is the profit threshold on each account. So in terms of profit split, in the Pro account, it's going to be 80-20. 80 you, 20 to take profit. So how the Pro account works versus the Pro Plus. So once you hit $5,000 in profit in the Pro account, guys, they're going to hit you with an email and say, would you like to go over to the Pro Plus? Okay, and as you can see, the Pro Plus profit splits go to 90-10, and they remove the, where is it? The daily loss limit. It might not say here. Oh yeah, right here. So there's no daily loss limit as well, okay? You don't have to go right away, but once you hit $20,000 in profits in your Pro account, they will make you go to Pro Plus, and that's when you switch over to the CQG. So Pro is 80-20, Pro Plus is 90-10. In terms of number of accounts, look right here, you can have as many evals as you want, right? But in terms of like trading in the Pro or Pro Plus and actually pulling money and withdrawing on a daily basis, you can have 3 and copy trade up to 3. The buffer requirements on the pro accounts, we already went over that. It's just going to be your max drawdown, but on the plus side, there's no daily loss limit on the Pro Plus. There is on the Pro account. And so in terms of drawdown, so this is the big thing to note about why I said getting a bigger account is probably better, especially once you move into the Pro account. In the test, in the eval, it's end of day, which is awesome. That's how, if you had your own account, that's what it would be, right? If I made $700 today, I wake up the next morning, I'm starting at 700 bucks. If I lost 300, I wake up the next day, I'm down negative 300, right? That's how your eval account works. Every other prop firm, I think other than like Top Step, does like intraday trailing drawdown, right? So whatever your high water mark is in that trade, even let's say you take 1 or 2 contracts, it goes up, let's say you're in profit $600, you don't take profit, it wicks down to 400 or 350. Well, whatever your high water mark is in that trade on intraday trailing drawdown, that is now your high water mark. So you're subtracting that profit from your drawdown. So just kind of know that intraday, once you go into Pro account, there is an intraday drawdown now in effect. So trading smaller and risk management is huge, because once you go into Pro account, there's no scaling plan. So you can trade as many contracts as you want, and you now have an intraday trailing drawdown. So I think it's big to have a bigger buffer in terms of a larger account size, but trade smaller. Because once you get to your buffer where you can pull money on a daily basis and you give yourself some room, now you have the ability to trade a little bit larger size. But if you go all in, you trade bigger contracts from the beginning, you have a higher tendency to push that high water mark, get some big wick backs, and then you start eating away at that trailing drawdown, and it really constricts your ability to grow that account. So just a heads up on the drawdown, end of day test, and then intraday Pro account. But no consistency scaling. So news, this will probably be a big question. In terms of like, if you're an oil trader, you trade crude, you can't trade crude oil inventories. So just a heads up on that. In terms of all the other instruments, FOMC, non-farm payroll, and then CPI. Those are the 3 big ones. So you can't trade them, but you can trade them. So what I mean by that is you can't be in a position a minute before, during, or a minute after. Okay, so you cannot be in a trade you can't be in a trade a minute before, during, or a minute after FOMC, non-farm payroll, or CPI. So if it triggers, let's say it's 5:30 in the morning, CPI comes out, I'm saying 5:30 because I'm in Cali time, and it triggers, it wicks up, and you want to get in on a first bounce, you can, but you just can't trade that immediate first candle. So just a heads up on that. Once you go to Pro Plus, you're going to have broker rates. The commissions are just straight $5 round trip, 50 cents on micros. But in terms of overall payouts, guys, and structure, as long as you manage your risk and you're not like YOLOing right when you get into your Pro account, I think in terms of payouts, there's like no one like this in the business, because you can pay yourself out on a daily basis, every single day during the week, as long as you're profitable, and you can have up to 3 Pro accounts. So just jump over this so you can kind of see a better examples. It's 40% off right now, no activation fee, paid on day 1. You can get funded in 5 days, daily withdrawals, trade up to 3 Pro accounts, and then no scaling plan. But like I said, trade small, get up to that trailing threshold with that buffer, and then you have the ability to trade bigger size. So that's just kind of my take on it. I'm in the 150. I like them a lot. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. See you guys on the flip side.